Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is part 2 of the Oasis Springs mansion that I am currently building. I use the term mansion loosely because it's not actually a mansion, but it's quite a large house, so I'm just going to call it a mansion for the minute. But this is the furnishing video, so in this video I'm just furnishing the house, doing the wallpapering, doing the floors and doing the furnishing. So this video obviously is a second part. If you haven't seen the first part, I recommend that you go and watch it because you get to see the main structure of the house. You don't really get to see it in this video, but I did do a build landscape video, so you should definitely go and watch that. So the first things that I do in this build is I actually create a little porch. And I don't know what it is, but I always feel like if you have a porch, you've got a really grand house, just like an entrance. Maybe if you have friends coming over or cold callers, they'd stand in the porch bit and not actually be allowed to come into the house. But anyway, so that's why I did that. And then I'm just doing a laundry room here. So this laundry room actually has 2 washers and 2 dryers. So on the left is the washers and on the right is the dryers. And I did like that because when you say washer and dryer, you say washer first and then dryer second. And so that was my thought process with that one. And yeah, so it's like a little laundry washing kind of room just off of the kitchen. It's quite sweet. I will probably hire a butler or something to do the laundry in this house because my Sims is terrible at it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm okay with it myself, but my Sims can't really do it that well. But I didn't actually create a butler's room in this house. I originally was going to, but then the way that I did my floor plan, it was a bit strange. So I didn't get to do a butler's room or wing. I'm sure you could probably add one if you really, really wanted one. But yeah. So now I'm doing the kitchen and the wallpaper thing on the wall. I absolutely love. One of my favourite in the game. It came with Jungle Adventure. I just love the blue and the grey, and that light blue. It just fits in really, really well and I love it. So I actually matched the fridge and the stoves to match the wallpaper because they do come in the set, so it is the same colour palette. And I just do these classic white counters also in this kitchen with is it white and blue tile flooring? I don't know, but I just think them kitchen items go really, really well together. Now looking back at it, I kind of wish I did an island in the middle of the kitchen because it's such a big space and you can definitely fit one in there, but it already had so many counters in it as it goes, and obviously we already cornered off a part of the kitchen for the washing room. So yeah, I kind of wish that I did that now, but I'm sure if you really, really want a counter in the middle, you could go in and just add one. So yeah, so now I'm just trying to figure out the sink. I did want to put the Jungle Adventure one in, but it wasn't the same white as the rest of the cabinet, so I leave it. And now I'm just doing a little tea area with the little different types of tea or coffee or whatever in the corner. I just like that little nook where you could go and get a hot drink. It's quite cute. So now I'm just cluttering up the kitchen. I do actually forget to put the thing above the stove. I can't think of the name of it, but I left a gap for it, but I actually forgot to put it in, which is really, really annoying. And I also just put a bin in and a cat or dog bowl for if you have any pets. And also the stoves are actually the same colour, but they look different colours, but they're the exact same swatch. I don't know what the deal is with that, but yeah. So now moving on to the bathroom, I actually only include 2 bathrooms in this build. Even though it has 5 bathrooms, they're all basically the same bathroom, just copied and pasted. Yeah, so this bathroom is just the downstairs bathroom. There's only 1 bathroom downstairs and then there's 4 upstairs, 3 of which are with the 3 bedrooms and then another main bathroom. The other bathroom that I include in this build is the main bathroom, and that's because it was quite a grand bathroom. It's got a fireplace in it and it's also got a bathtub in it. I think 3 out of the 5 bathrooms have showers and the other 2 have baths. One of the baths is in the teenage boy's bedroom just because his bathroom is big enough, and the other bath is in the main bathroom as it's quite a big bathroom. So now I'm just moving on to the dining room. I do a really traditional dining room with the base game table and base game chairs. I think I might actually do a base game build in the next following weeks, just because it's fun to use the base game stuff sometimes. Like this stuff I barely ever use, and with this build I just felt like it really fitted in with what I was trying to achieve, with this kind of like Mediterranean Oasis springsy kind of style. So that's why I did that. And now I'm just adding little decorations to the dining room. I do put in the dog painting of the dogs playing poker, which I love that painting, and I never really get to use it in this build, just in any of my builds, just because it's such a big painting. I've never really got any space for it, and I normally do quite modern houses or like suburban traditional kind of houses, so I never really get to use it. So now just moving on to the lounge room. The lounge room is quite small for a house being as big as it is, but it's fine. And the room off to the right is actually going to be the office. So to get to the office you have to kind of go through the lounge room. I could have made it all into one, but it was kind of a weird kind of shape, and so I decided to make it into like the dad's office or the mum's office. And so now I'm just cluttering it up and doing some paintings. There is a lot of plants in this build, like it's just filled with plants all throughout this build. It's just different kind of plants, and at one point I was like running out of different ones to use because I'd used so many. So now I'm just putting them little lines in. And did I add more plants or did I add a speaker? I probably added... Oh no, I added a lamp in that corner. Okay, that's quite cute. I also never used that lamp. It's quite a cute little old lady lamp, but it's quite nice. So that's why I did that. And now I'm just trying to figure out what to put on this little plain wall going into the office. Did I leave the map? I think I left that map there, and of course I'm adding in more plants because it's me. And now I'm just doing the office. So I imagine the mum or the dad or whatever, they have quite a big empire, and that's why they can afford this house, and so they needed a home office, and so that's why I added one. The home office only really has the desk in, some chairs, which I imagine like if he ever has business meetings and like they come over, that they sit in these like really grand leather chairs, and there's a little tea set in between it, so maybe like drink tea or something. I don't know, that was my thought process. And with the bookcase thing I just added there, I wanted to include that window. I didn't want to block it out and I didn't want to delete it, so I actually got two, I think they're cats and dogs bookcases, and put them side by, like one on one side, the other on the other side, and then put like a table which was a similar kind of wood in between, and then just put a load of flowers, and I thought it looked really nice, and then you can still see the light coming through from the window. And so now I'm just adding some paintings. I believe I used the cats and dogs paintings in this build. I love them painted. I just love the whole cats and dogs pack. Like, I love the way the furniture looks. I love the whole aspect of being able to use animals and cats and dogs, although I do actually really need to explore it a little bit more, because I'm always going for the same kind of dogs. I never really branch out and try and create like a mixed breed or anything like that, so I think I might do that for the family that live in this house. But the dog that actually lives here actually has 2 beds, so I've got one right next to the entrance, just on the left hand side there, and then I've actually got one upstairs as well, just in case they want to sleep upstairs or if they want to sleep downstairs. So now I'm just filling in the hallways. I just did downstairs, now I'm going into the upstairs, and I switched out that door because for some reason I put in the small sized door even though it was a medium sized upstairs. I don't know, the downstairs is the short level, and then the upstairs is like the medium level wall height. So now I'm just doing the bathrooms. I leave this bit in. I didn't realise I left this bit in. So this is the other bathroom that I include in the house. This is the main bathroom with the grand bathtub from Cats and Dogs, which I love. And this is the one that has the fireplace from Vintage Glamour. I love this fireplace. It's just a really nice fireplace, and I always want to put a fireplace in my builds, but I can never fit them in, and it was the perfect opportunity to do it. So I took the opportunity and I added a fireplace in, and I added the really expensive painting above it. I think that's one of the most expensive paintings in the game at the minute. I mean, that might change, I don't know, because we've got Get Famous coming, and so I'm assuming there's quite a lot of good paintings with that, like expensive paintings, but at the minute this is one of the most expensive ones, and it actually fits the style of the rest of the house, and I never really get to use it as well, so I thought I'd include it in this. So now I'm just doing the like side table behind the bath, just because I imagine there'd be like candles and like luxurious items on it, and there is a little candle in that lighting thing. I love using that. And so yeah, and I had the shower, which is the same pattern as the walls in this build, and then I'm just duplicating upstairs and the downstairs cabinets. Even though I could have just easily found them, I was lazy and I duplicated them. And so now I'm just doing a dual sink. I kind of wanted them to be next to each other, but I don't know, the way that it fitted, it just looked better being on the corner, and so now you just have like your own little space. But realistically, if one was standing at the other sink and then the other person was standing at the other sink, then you'd kind of bump into each other, but it's fine. Two Sims are not going to be using it at the same time, I hope. But yeah, so now I'm just finishing up the bathroom. I don't know if I add anything else into this. I might add some like clutter bits and bobs, or like a towel rack, or yeah. So now moving on to the master bedroom, or like the main bedroom kind of thing. This is like the parents' room that I imagined. So this room, I actually change it quite a bit. So the wallpapering that is there at the minute, the green leafy one, I do try and do it on like two of the walls, because it was quite overpowering, but in the end I just put it all over all the walls, like all 4/5 walls, because there's technically more walls than that. But yeah, so I just switch it up, and I don't know if I kept that bit in, but yeah. So now I'm just cluttering it up with loads of bits and bobs, and I add a sofa kind of, what's it called, the thing that goes at the end of the bed. I add that in, and I also add that in the boys' room. I wanted to include it in the girls' room, but there wasn't enough space, because I had like a desk at the other end of her bed, so it would be a little bit of a squish, and I didn't want your Sims to not be able to use it, or not be able to get around the other side of the bed. So I did that. And so now I put two dresses in. I did kind of like a his and hers dresser. I do this in quite a lot of my builds, and it's just because I always remember when I was younger, my mum and dad always had like my mum's dresser and my dad's dresser, and my dad always had like his aftershave on it and like just his stuff, and then my mum always used to have like a little jewellery box and like a perfume and all that kind of stuff, and lotions. So I kind of tried to replicate that in this build to make it seem a little bit more realistic, and I put in some like the men's folded shirts to indicate that's the man's, and then the little perfume and lotion bottles to indicate that it's the woman's. And now I'm just using move objects to put stuff exactly where I want. And so yeah, and then I think this is where I had the little sofa, and I do actually change the colour of it back to the black and silver one, just because it went so much better once I fully made the room the green wallpaper. And I just preferred it, if I'm honest, and so that's why I changed it back. And I tried to switch up the lighting. I don't know why I did, because I just deleted it in the end because it was making the build look yellow, and I know that you can change the lighting like colour, but I just wanted it to be nice, crisp and white, and so yeah. And then I just added that what's it called? I was about to say Get City Living, the City Living mirror, which I kind of wish it came in more swatches. I'm not gonna lie, I wish it came in like other swatches that aren't like black and gold, because not everyone can use that. And to be fair, I could use it in this situation, but I would like that in other colours, but I don't think that we're going to get that anytime soon. So now I'm just adding like a little seating area in the hallway. I add 2 seating areas in the hallways just because they were so big and I didn't know what to do with them, and they felt so empty and bare, and I didn't want it to be so empty and bare. So I added 2 little seating chairs here, and then in the other corner I added the base game. It was actually a new update base game sofa, just by the patio entrance area kind of thing. And yeah, and then now I'm just adding this avocado thing. Do you know what? I've never used this, and I'm really happy that I got to use it, because it's something that you can't really just put in a standard build, but I felt like for this it was relevant and it made sense. So yeah, so now moving on to the teenage boys room. I did a teenage boys room and a teenage girls room. I imagine the teenage boy was like a streamer or massive into games and all that kind of stuff, and so I had like a little gaming area for him. And I imagine the girl to be quite famous. Obviously I'm building this thinking about the get famous back, so I imagine her to be quite famous, quite a large social media following. Even though I don't think teenagers can have a social media account. I know they can post to Simstagram for like pets, but yeah. But anyway, and so I'm just doing his bedroom here. I actually do change up the colour of his wallpaper at the very end, because when I go and do it, the teenage daughter's bedroom, I see a wallpaper that I didn't think of, and so I switch up, and then I switch up the colour of the curtains as well. I make the wallpaper like black and more like, I'd want to say teenage boyish, but I don't want to stereotype, but yeah. And then I also make the curtains red. I just felt like it looked a whole lot better, especially with the dark furniture and the dark wood. And so yeah, so now I'm just cluttering up his dresser, and I do add like a little backpack, and now I'm just adding a little speaker, just because I assumed that he would always be playing music, and he's got some CDs there. And so yeah, and so I think I'm now going to move on to, I don't know why I'm paused. So now I'm going to move on to the like streaming area. I know in Get Famous that you can actually now stream, which is so cool. Don't think that you can do it for teenagers. I mean, I don't know, I haven't seen the back. I've only seen what everyone else has seen, but I'm assuming that you can't do it for teenagers, but I'm pretty sure there might be a mod out there one day that will be able to do it. So that's why I did the 3 monitors, and I actually sized up a gaming console, and I imagined it to be his computer sitting on the floor, but his computer's so big that it couldn't fit on the desk. And so yeah, so now I'm just adding some posters, and I think the posters really show that it's a teenage boys room, especially with that little streaming area, and I really like it, and I love the way that this room turned out. It's probably one of my favourites in the whole build, just because it's just so cool. Like, oh, and I put in like a little light for when he streams. I assume that's his lighting setup. You can't really get anything closer to that. And I just put a little plaque on the wall. I imagine he's like a big YouTuber or whatever, and he got his 100,000 subscribers plaque, and that was what that was. So yeah, so now you can just see me going in and changing the colour of his wallpaper. And then I do change the girl's wallpaper to like a nice soft pink. Yeah, and I just think, especially with this wood, like the wood kind of colour on the windows, I think it looked really nice together. And I really wanted her to have this room because I wanted her to have the kind of corner bit, just so she could have a dressing table there. And I also used that cushion. I know that you technically can't use that cushion to actually sit on. Well, at least I don't think you can, but I'm pretty certain you can't when you actually use the dressing table. But I just thought it looked really nice, and if you want to use it, you can just delete it and replace it. But I just thought that it just brought something different to the room, and I imagined it to be like a furry kind of stool. And so yeah, so now I'm just doing her dresser, and I get to add like the hairdryer and the makeup, because I imagine she's really into like beauty and her hair and her nails and all that kind of stuff. And I just add these Marilyn Monroe posters, Audrey Hepburn, and I don't know who the other woman is. I feel quite bad, but them kind of posters, I thought that looked really cool. And so yeah, and now I'm just going in and just adding the makeup and stuff, like I said. And in a minute, in front of the window with the curtains on, I do add just a little single desk, not a double desk, just a cute little teen single desk, just for her to have a computer on, because I originally wasn't going to put a computer in her room, but then there was a space and I didn't want to leave it bare. And so yes, that's what I'm doing now. And I think I add some shoes, like a shoe stand also in this room. I'm pretty certain I do. It takes me quite a while to figure out what I want. Oh, I do add this Jungle Adventure mirror. That's one thing that I really wanted to like put in this room, is like a really big grand mirror, so she could take like her Instagram pictures in it or something like that. I don't know, that was what I was thinking when I was building this. So anyway, now we're coming to the end of the build. I hope you guys enjoyed this 2-part video series. It's not really a series, the 2-part video thing that I just did. I don't know what to call it, but I hope you enjoyed both of the speed builds that I did, and I can't wait to play in this house, and hopefully you can't wait to play in this house as well. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.